Hey friends, Allison here. Welcome back to my channel. I'm back with a new December Daily 2022 layout to share with you. This is a tag insert that is going in my album Outside the Page Protector. It was created with my Cricut Explorer and designed in Cricut before I put it together. So pretty well all of the images in this layout were converted to draw images rather than cut, and I decided to color them in. So I'm working on this mat right now. The trees and the title, which is Winter Weather, was attached to a rectangle in Cricut Design Space, and then it cut and drew all at the same time. I used a black pen just to create the outlines of everything that was going to be colored in, and then I'm using my Spectrum Noir markers to color them in. I was showing you at the beginning of the video the colors that I planned on using for this layout. So I'm really only sticking to brown, gray, blue, and green. And in those markers, I will be using either all three of the shades in that marker or two of them. So the lightest tone and mid-tone, or the light mid and dark tone. So in the title, Winter Weather, I'm going to be using all three shades in the pen to create sort of a gradient ombre color effect in the title. So I began by coloring in the entire title with the lightest shade, and then I went over 3/4 of it with the mid-tone, and then I went over like the last quarter-ish with the darkest tone, and then I go back to that light tone and color over everything again just to help blend it out. I do cut most of this out because it takes a while and is repetitive, and I applied that same principle to pretty well all the coloring in this layout today on both sides. So I'm sharing both sides of this tag with you today. Something interesting to note as well, the top of the tag has a pattern on it that I created in Cricut Design Space as well. I have been eyeing this snowflake border for quite a while and wanted to use it, and finally found a way to put it together. I think I will be showing you a close-up of that in just a moment. So with the coloring done, I adhered the white panel to a charcoal gray panel. There's the top of the tag that I was telling you about. It is a cut file, that snowflake image. I converted it to a draw file and attached it to the top of this tag. So when you're creating it, it's not going to follow the same shape as that half circle at the top of the tag. It's going to lay over it. I attached them together so that it would draw over it and then it would cut all at the same time. So there is going to be stuff left over of the image that I had drawn, but that stuff will all be cut out. So again, that was a draw and cut option. I love the way that it turned out, especially I love the tone on tone color. The color of the top of that tag is Glacier. It's from Close to My Heart. I'm using the true side of the cardstock, and then the pen that I used to draw the pattern on it is Peacock. It's a Cricut pen, and is a really nice match to that color. So you saw me there kind of struggling getting the top of that half circle onto the tag. Apparently, I don't think it's totally 90 degrees like straight, because when I put my papers down onto it, the mats, it didn't line up. It was kind of crooked, so I took it back off. Luckily, nothing tore, and put it on the right way. And I know that the gray and the white mats are right because the Cricut cut them. It wasn't me. So I applied the same principle to this side of the layout as well, but I did the coloring off camera because you had already seen it before, and I was just creating some depth and shading in the coloring by using more than one shade in the marker. So now I have both sides adhered together. I'm going to put them together, I just used ATG adhesive to stick them together. I made sure not to put too much adhesive on the left-hand side of the layout where the gutter is, because that's where my holes will be punched so it can go into the album. And here again, I noticed that when I put them together, they weren't totally straight. So I took them apart and lined them up again a second time and got them together. I realized at this point that I had a few other embellishments that I wanted to add to this page and forgot all about it. So turned the camera back on and pulled them over, and I'm going to put them onto the layout. So I created a little phrase in Cricut Design Space. I attached a phrase to a little rectangle. So basically it is like a word strip, and then glued it to a piece of gray cardstock that was slightly larger. That way it didn't blend into the white background. And then on this side of the page, I have a little snowflake that I turned into a draw image, and then I used the offset function to create the bubble around it. That was with a gray pen. And then another phrase is going to be adhered over top of that. And that brings me to the end of this video. I do have close-ups coming up. Oh, pardon me. I forgot all about the shimmer brush. I do add some sparkle to these images. I do try and stay away from coloring in with the shimmer brush over images that were drawn with the Cricut, because if you happen to color over that pen line, it does bleed. And so as a rule, I generally don't do that, but this time I decided that I would, and was very, very careful not to touch those pen lines at all so that it would bleed. There you go, my friends. That is it for me. The reason I created this layout was because yesterday was the winter solstice, and I thought that it deserved a place in my December daily album. And also, it's extremely cold here in Alberta, so I had to pay homage to that as well. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you're enjoying the close-ups. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up and a like. And if you'd like to see more digital projects like this, hit the subscribe button. I'd love to have you join me. I will be back again soon with more creative inspiration, and Merry Christmas, friends. Bye.